Let's get some more analysis on the story now. We can bring in Ketan Joshi. He's a science communications expert who focuses on energy and climate policy. Ketan, thank you for joining us. Tell us more about what exactly scientists are predicting for our future, how it will look.
So Australian scientists have a bit of a long history in terms of trying to understand how climate change impacts fires in Australia. This goes back to the late 80s and the early 90s. The country's state science agency, it's called the CSIRO, and they predicted about a decade ago that bushfire would get worse in Australia. What they noticed is that this thing called the Forest Fire Danger Index, which measures the conditions required for fires, was trending upwards. And they're predicting that trend is going to continue past now. So what we're starting to see now is the manifestation of that change with these really severe fires. But unfortunately, if climate change continues as it is today, it will get far worse, probably about twice as worse in terms of the number of days where these really dangerous conditions are present by the year 2030.
Ketan, is it too late to mitigate the effects that these bushfires have had on the global climate?
Certainly not. There's a lot of different things that a country can do to reduce its emissions. Of course, you can convert to renewable energy, you can change the transport system, all those sorts of things. There is a bit of a lag between reducing emissions and the resulting impact on the state of the planet's climate, but there is a relationship. So the things that we do today will have a big impact, and it really matters that we start acting very soon.
You said, Ketan, that Australia itself is pioneering the denial of climate disaster. What did you mean by that, and how has that impacted climate action or the lack thereof in Australia?
So this was a reference to both the reaction from the government and reactions from some elements of commentators across Australia. I would argue that they've sort of been stuck in a very, very limited cycle for about a decade of denying that the problem exists. But I would also counter that by saying that the Australian public has become increasingly supportive of change. So hopefully what happens in the year 2020 is that the public pressure starts to increase, and that results in a change in other parts of Australia as well.
Ketan, are you confident that will happen, that this public pressure will actually translate into greater action from governments, not just in Australia, but across the world when it comes to climate policy?
I'm optimistic that it'll happen. I wouldn't say that I'm confident, because I've learned not to be confident about too many things when it comes to this issue. But I think that Australians care a lot about each other, they care a lot about their environment, and of course the incredible natural world in the country. And what they're seeing right now is that natural world and those people are being really heavily impacted. So I think that will precipitate a big change in the citizens of Australia, and I think that probably will have some strong effect on the direction of the country in the near future.
Ketan Joshi, thank you so much for joining us on DW.
Thanks.